Welcome! Do you want to learn English in a fun and easy way? In this video, we teach English using narrated, animated stories. Here is how it works. On the left, watch the beautiful animations. They are designed to help you understand and enjoy the story. On the right, you can read along as you listen to the narrator. When we reach a difficult word, don't worry. A box will appear at the bottom with a simple definition and an example to help you learn. Let's get started.
On the last Monday of May each year, a deep quiet falls over Arlington National Cemetery. It is a special silence, heavy with history. More than 400,000 white headstones stand in perfect lines across the green, rolling hills of Virginia. Each stone marks the grave of a person who served bravely in the country's military. Families come to these graves, sometimes just standing in quiet thought, sometimes speaking very softly about their loved ones. This moment shows a nation thinking deeply about the huge, often painful, price of its own existence. It is a time when the United States, for a brief period, stops its busy life to remember those who gave everything for its freedom. Many Americans see Memorial Day as the unofficial start of summer. It means a long weekend for parties, barbecues, and trips to the beach. But this holiday has a much deeper and sadder meaning. It began from a desperate need to deal with great national trauma. After a terrible war, the country had lost hundreds of thousands of people. There was no easy way to mourn so many at once, so this day became a way to honor those who died. This year, Memorial Day happens as the United States prepares to celebrate its 250th birthday. This national celebration, known as the Freedom 250 Initiative, was started under an executive order by President Donald Trump. This mixes national joy with national sorrow in a special way.
How can a nation celebrate its big birthday while also standing on the graves of those who built and protected it? This feeling might challenge what you thought you knew about this familiar long weekend. It calls into question our basic assumptions about the day and its purpose. The real story of how Memorial Day started is not what most Americans think. It is not as simple as many history books suggest. The first celebrations were not always what we imagine today, and they didn't happen in the well-known places. Many people believe it started in one particular place, or with one famous general, but the true origins are more complex and spread out among different groups and times across the country. Parts of this history have been forgotten or even suppressed for a long time. These hidden stories will take us on a journey into a past that has been largely overlooked. We will uncover important events and people that are central to this day, but are often left out of the main story. This journey will show us the true and rich origins of Memorial Day, which are far more surprising and meaningful than many realize. The story is a journey into a forgotten and suppressed past, waiting to be rediscovered. 2. A very sad war. The American Civil War was a time of immense sadness and destruction. From 1861 to 1865, the young nation fought against itself. The war caused a truly massive, unprecedented amount of death. Around 620,000 to 750,000 soldiers and other people died. This was a number the country had never seen before. It meant that many brothers, fathers, and sons were lost. Their bodies were often buried quickly in fields, sometimes in big shared graves, across states like Virginia and Georgia.
The battles caused widespread devastation. It is hard to imagine how bad they were. Big fights like Cold Harbor, Gettysburg, and Antietam became known for great disaster. Many thousands of soldiers were killed or hurt in each of these conflicts. By the time the war ended in April 1865, America was completely exhausted. People felt tired in their bodies and in their minds. The country was broken. A big question came after the war. How could a country deal with so much grief? There were no clear rules from the government on how to mourn so many lost people. No national system existed to help families remember the soldiers who died. People did not have a tradition for remembering so many military dead. This lack of guidance meant that communities had to find their own solutions. Because there were no official guidelines, people had to find their own ways to cope. They improvised. They started to do things in their local communities. People from both the North and the South, black and white, began to decorate soldiers' graves. They used flowers from springtime. These decoration days were a natural human reaction. It was a way to bring beauty to sad places where the dead lay. It was as if the flowers could say what words could not. These quiet, desperate rituals with springtime flowers were about to change the nation forever. 3. The Secret First Day. A Yale historian named David Blight found a secret story. He was looking in an old archive box at Harvard University in the late 1990s. Inside, he found papers about an amazing event from 1865. This event was held by freed Black Americans in Charleston, South Carolina, just weeks after the Civil War ended. Many people now believe this was the very first Memorial Day. Before this special day, Charleston had a horse race track called the Washington Racecourse. During the war, Confederate soldiers used this track as a brutal prison camp. Union soldiers held there faced terrible conditions. 257 of them died from sickness and lack of care. Their bodies were quickly buried in a large shared grave. This racetrack, once a symbol of the wealth of slave owners, had become a place of great sadness and death. Then, in the spring of 1865, something truly remarkable happened. In about 10 days, a group of freed Black American Charlestons worked to change this sad place. They carefully dug up the soldiers' bodies and reburied them in neat rows. They built a 10-foot-tall white fence around the graves. They gave the site a new name, Martyrs of the Racecourse. On May 1, 1865, they held a moving commemoration ceremony. More than 10,000 people came to this event. It was a powerful sight. 3,000 African American school children led a march, singing loudly as they walked. They carried many armfuls of beautiful roses. Hundreds of African American women followed them, holding baskets filled with flowers, wreaths, and crosses to decorate the graves. Ministers gave speeches and hymns were sung. The dead soldiers were honored in a way no one had seen before. This powerful story, however, was suppressed for more than 100 years. David Blight said that African Americans invented Memorial Day in Charleston. He explained that these people, who had been enslaved, were showing the world with their flowers, their walking, and their songs what the war had been fought for. They were celebrating a kind of Independence Day for their freedom. Even though newspapers wrote about it at the time, this important event faded from national memory. It was almost completely forgotten. But in 2018,
more than 150 years later, a new historical marker was placed in Charleston. It now tells the story of this first Memorial Day in the United States of America. This hidden history makes us think about what other important parts of our past the nation might have chosen to forget, leaving us to wonder about the full truth of our history. 4. A new rule for all. After the terrible war, many Americans deeply felt the need to remember the soldiers who had died. But there was no single national way to do this.
This changed when General John A. Logan, a respected leader of Union Civil War veterans, made a special announcement. On May 5, 1868, he declared that May 30th would be a day for the entire nation to honor its fallen heroes. He named this special occasion Decoration Day. General Logan asked people across the country to visit cemeteries and place flowers on the graves of soldiers. This was a direct call to bring beauty and remembrance to places of loss. He carefully chose May 30th because it was not linked to any specific battle, helping to make it a more universal day of mourning. Also, he noted that late May ensured the choicest flowers of springtime would be blooming, ready to be gathered and placed. The first national observance of Decoration Day took place at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. Speeches were given, music was played, and many people participated in the solemn act of decorating graves. It was a very solemn day, full of quiet respect. The idea of Decoration Day was quickly embraced by people in the northern states. They saw it as an important way to honor their brave soldiers. Before long, many northern states officially recognized Decoration Day as a state holiday. However, the southern states did not feel the same. Having lost the war, they were unwilling to observe a holiday that honored Union soldiers, whom they had fought against. They continued to hold their own separate days of remembrance for Confederate soldiers, often on different dates. This profound difference meant that a holiday intended for national healing instead highlighted how divided the country still was, even years after the fighting stopped. The North and South mourned their dead separately. Beyond this North-South split, there was also a disagreement about the holiday's true origins. While the story of freed Black Americans in Charleston in 1865 showed an early remembrance, the official title of Birthplace of Memorial Day went to Waterloo, New York. This small town in upstate New York had consistently held observances since 1866, even closing businesses to mark the day. New York's governor, Nelson A. Rockefeller, made this official for the state in 1966. Later, the United States Congress and President Lyndon B. Johnson confirmed Waterloo as the official birthplace of the holiday. Their consistent actions made their claim strong. General Logan's call for Decoration Day was a crucial moment. It tried to create a shared way for the nation to grieve. Yet the deep wounds from the Civil War meant this new rule could not immediately bring everyone together. The different ways the North and South remembered their dead showed that true unity for the entire country was still a difficult and distant goal, leaving a lasting impact on the nation's healing process. 5. The day changes. After many years, the holiday began to change in important ways. At first, Decoration Day was mostly for soldiers who died in the American Civil War. But then a very big war happened far away in Europe, World War I. Many American soldiers went to fight there. This war was called the Great War because it was so large and caused so much destruction. It was a truly catastrophic event for many nations. Many brave Americans died, over 116,000 of them. Because so many new soldiers died in this global conflict, the holiday needed to grow. It could no longer be only about the Civil War. The massive number of deaths forced the country to think differently. Decoration Day slowly became Memorial Day, a time to remember all American soldiers who died in any war. This change helped bring the North and South closer. They had fought together in the muddy fields of Europe, and now they could mourn their shared losses together too. The old anger from the Civil War started to fade as a new common grief united them. World War I also brought another very strong symbol, the red poppy. A Georgian woman named Moina Michael had an idea in 1915. She read a famous poem called In Flanders Fields, written by John McCrae. This poem described bright red poppies growing wild on the battlefields of Belgium, where so many soldiers had fallen and were buried.
Moina thought wearing a red poppy could be a powerful symbol to remember these brave men. Soon, the red poppy became a widely recognized remembrance in the Western world for those who died in war. People started wearing them on their clothes to show they would never forget the soldiers' sacrifice. The name Memorial Day became more and more common after World War II, but the change from Decoration Day was slow and informal. It was not until 1967 that the United States government officially declared Memorial Day as the holiday's name. By then, the holiday had absorbed the sorrow and grief of many more conflicts. For millions of American families, it was not just an abstract day for their country. It was a very personal day to honor and remember their own loved ones who had died serving the nation. The country was finally beginning to heal and mourn together, showing more unity in their sadness for fallen heroes. But just as this deep shared meaning settled in, a new, unexpected challenge was quietly approaching, something that would change the holiday's true purpose once again. 6. Shopping or remembering? The 6th chapter looks at a big change for Memorial Day. In 1968, the government made a new law. It was called the Uniform Monday Holiday Act. This law did something important. It moved Memorial Day from its fixed date, May 30, to the last Monday in May.
The main reason for this change was to create longer weekends for federal workers. The government also hoped it would help businesses and the economy. They believed that more three-day weekends would lead to more travel and more shopping. However, this decision was very controversial. Many military veterans and their families did not like the change at all. They felt that moving the day would make people forget its true and serious meaning. Veterans groups like the American Legion spoke out against it. They argued that the holiday should be about quiet respect and memory for those who died, not about enjoying a long break or going shopping. They worried that the new act would make the country value leisure more than remembrance. Over the years, many of the veterans' fears proved to be true. The three-day weekend quickly became known as the unofficial start of summer. Stores across the country began to hold huge Memorial Day sales on everything from furniture to cars. People started to associate the holiday with discounts on mattresses, barbecues, and trips to the beach. The focus shifted away from the solemn act of honoring the fallen. Instead, it became more about commerce and fun. This change caused confusion. Many Americans started to mix up Memorial Day with other holidays like Veterans Day, which honors all living and deceased service members, or Armed Forces Day, for those currently serving. The specific purpose of Memorial Day, to remember those who died in service, began to get lost. It felt like a form of forgetting to many Gold Star families who had lost loved ones in uniform. To try and bring back some of the original respect, Congress passed the National Moment of Remembrance Act in 2000. This act asks all Americans to pause at 3 p.m. local time on Memorial Day for 1 minute of silence. It is a simple individual action meant to acknowledge the sacrifice of those who died. But the struggle continues. The country still faces a clear choice. Will Memorial Day be mainly about shopping, parties, and the start of summer? Or will it be about remembering its fallen heroes with quiet honor? This tension shows a deeper crisis of forgetting what the day truly means. 7. How we remember. Memorial Day is a time when people remember soldiers who died for their country. Today, Americans show their respect in many different ways. Some of these ways are very serious and follow old rules, while others are new and personal. One important way is with the American flag. On Memorial Day, the flag flies at half-staff from sunrise until noon. This shows the nation is sad for those who died. Then, at noon, the flag is raised to the top of the pole, or full staff. This means the country is strong and remembers their sacrifice. Another way to remember is by visiting cemeteries. Volunteers place small American flags at the graves of veterans.
At Arlington National Cemetery, thousands of flags wave next to the white tombstones. This creates a beautiful, silent picture of respect. Many families also have their own quiet rituals. They go to a cemetery, put flowers on a grave, and spend a few minutes thinking about their loved ones. Some people choose harder ways to remember. One popular event is the Murph workout. This is a very tough physical challenge. It includes a 1-mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and another 1-mile run. Some people even do it with a heavy vest. People do the Murph to feel a small part of the sacrifice soldiers make. It helps them think about the hard work and pain military families go through. Large groups also gather. Thousands of motorcyclists take part in Rolling to Remember in Washington, D.C. This ride honors soldiers who were prisoners of war or are missing. It makes a strong, loud statement of remembrance. There is also the National Moment of Remembrance. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Memorial Day, everyone is asked to stop what they are doing for 1 minute of silence. This is a simple but powerful way for all Americans to pause and remember. Perhaps the most enduring symbol of remembrance is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Here, guards stand watch all day and night, every day of the year, no matter the weather.
These guards are a testament to the nation's promise to never forget those whose names are lost, but whose sacrifice is remembered. With so many different ways to observe Memorial Day, from quiet moments to big events, can modern America find a single, united way to say thank you to all its fallen heroes? 8. The Big Birthday. This year, Memorial Day was especially important. The United States was getting ready to celebrate its 250th birthday, a big milestone. This meant the country was trying to feel both joy and sadness at the same time. How can a nation celebrate its own long life while honestly counting the millions of human lives it cost to survive? This question shows the deep feelings people have about this important holiday.
President Donald Trump, in January 2025, started the Freedom 250 initiative. This was a plan for special events from Memorial Day 2025 through the end of 2026. So Memorial Day in 2026 was like the start of a summer-long national party. This mix of mourning and celebration created a special feeling. Big events like the National Memorial Day Parade in Washington, D.C., honored many military anniversaries. These events paid tribute to brave people from 250 years of American history. For many, the holiday means picnics and shopping sales. This can be hard for military families who have lost loved ones.
Seeing advertisements for mattresses might feel like the true meaning of the day is forgotten. But some people argue that parades, barbecues, and family time are also important. They show that the country, for which soldiers died, is still strong and free. The holiday has become a hybrid, combining quiet respect with family celebrations. The full history of Memorial Day reminds us of important stories. For example, in Charleston, South Carolina, in 1865, formerly enslaved Black Americans organized what may have been the very first Memorial Day. They bravely cleaned up a mass grave of Union soldiers and held a moving ceremony with 3,000 singing children. This powerful, suppressed story was found by historians many years later. It teaches us that the holiday's origins are much more diverse and meaningful than many people once knew. Recognizing these hidden parts of history helps us truly understand the day. Remembering the dead honestly is an ongoing, deliberate choice. It means more than just one day a year. It involves learning about the past, visiting cemeteries, and observing the national moment of remembrance at 3 p.m. It means remembering that each of the millions of fallen heroes was a real person. Their sacrifice created the country we have today. As the United States celebrates its 250th year, it must continue to face the challenge of remembering this huge cost.
How do you think we can best honor those who sacrificed for our nation, while also celebrating our country's history?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.